I'll record on this computer. There we are. Press the button. All right. I'll see you in a little while. At some time in the future, we will talk about the holographic nature of the soul. How every quality is available to every person. It is thought that some only have certain skills and others have other skills. Some are established and competent in one way and others do not possess the skill required. But this is not the truth. Now, over the last weeks, we have been looking at the spiritual pathway and the evolution of that path by improving our skills through exercises. We have looked at what happens when you build the 5 qualities that we mentioned. We reminded you to do this by walking through doors, sitting down. We also said, look at the way you speak and to undertake an activity that you love, that you are passionate about, that you can lose yourself in. Now today is a slightly different talk. In a moment we will ask the questions and I will do my best to answer. And then we will undertake the experiment of bringing the medium into awareness of this speech. But that is later, not now. So for the moment, the medium sits in another location, blissfully unaware of our conversation we are having now. But in due course, I will remind you when this will occur, and we will continue our discussion with the medium slightly here. So let us begin again with a message for Charlotte in Denmark. One moment. Here, Charlotte, love, you've got to increase your time now. It's important now for the next week until we catch up again for you to sit for 1 hour, not 30 minutes. Now, this is going to test your commitment. It's going to test your resolve, going to test your passion. Are you really there, love? Do you really want it? I know you're going to hate me about it for an hour, but you can do it. I'll come and be with you from now on when you get the hour. I'll be there quite strongly. You'll feel me on the left-hand side and the tingles which will go up towards your skull, darling. All right. Take care, love. See you soon. As I regain control, can I ask, are there any questions or anybody would like to state their observations of doing the work that we have mentioned?
Yes, we do have a question from Raylene. She had a question regarding energy running through her body. Raylene, if you would like to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think that the. Oh, good morning. Sorry. I think that the energy running through me may be raising my vibration. Is that correct?
Energy starts to work with people the more they let go. When you begin your journey, you will feel like that you are water trickling down a stream. But the water will feel like that its intensity will pick up when some of the obstacles to the flow are removed away. At this time, it feels like the intensity has increased, but the obstacles have been removed. The point of the work is firstly for you to say that you are ready, willing, and able. The simple act of saying, I am here, I will do this, and I will practice or work, whichever way, is an act of stating your intention to be of service. We will then wait to see if that is true. Some people, of course, say, I intend to work, and then maybe work just once or twice. In these cases, there is very little difference to the flow of energy. But once people do honor their commitment and become a regular practitioner, then you will find naturally then more will come. So the difference between you and this medium is not anything to do with skill. He just has more experience than you do. And in having the experience, he has developed capacity to undertake the work. But the capacity to do the work is not just involved during your hours of practice, it's also outside of your practice. I have mentioned before, when selecting somebody to work with, don't just look at the tree, but look at the fruit. And I mean, don't just look at their ability to do a connection, but also the way they live their life. Then you will find the true person to work with is one where they work with spirit entirely. I have mentioned this before. Now, you have been on the periphery of this work for some time, my dear, and you have been on the periphery of practicing this work. And if I was to be honest, then you would say there was times of, let us call it mild commitment. It has never left you, you have never left it, but there has not been the full commitment to practice, to develop, to work, to evolve. And I do not mean that detrimentally. You will probably find most, if not all, people are the same. So you can devise or divide, forgive me, people's development into 7 steps. I will not go through the whole 7. The first step is turning their head towards the light and knowing or believing that there is something more to be learned, something more unusual, something that is non-physical. They begin their process and they begin to practice. At step 3, this is their decision point. Are you really wanting this? And once they get to step 3 and pass it into step 4, there is no turning back. At steps 1, 2, and the early part of 3, then that person practicing can, let us say, go back to normal or avoid the path that they wish. For some, steps 1, 2, and 3 are fairly quick and instant, but for the majority, getting to step 3 may take many years. How committed and how dedicated you are into the development of the work will determine that length of time. Now, in removing some of the blockages you have towards, let us say, practice and development, you will find the raising of energy. Initially, it is just removing the obstacles. With time, a little bit more water will be given to the pipe. I have used that analogy recently with somebody else. And it comes to a point where the energy will flow through you unhindered or with minimal hindrance. And this comes to the point of, let us say, more of a pure connection. Some of the issues the majority of people face are physical or egoic in nature. By egoic, I mean an element of the mind that has belief of individuality. Now that is a topic to itself, that word, and I pause to pick it carefully. So let me answer your question specifically. Yes, the increase in energy can be felt. For you at this stage, it is more that some of the hindrances have been removed. You should expect that energy to increase still further. You'll find it particularly around the upper part of your back, let us say from above your heart upwards. This is the spiritual side of the chakra system, and this is where you'll feel the connection the most. It does lead us potentially onto a discussion about Kundalini energy, but I avoid that in order to get through to the next person. You will know if you are connected to the earth and connected to the energy of the earth, that you will feel a tingling in the very base of your spine. Majority of people can feel this to, let us say, to at least a mild degree. But over time, that can become more substantial. Do not doubt your connection. Your mind will be saying you can, you can't, you should, you shouldn't, etc. This is a natural part to get from stepping stone 1 to 2 to 3 and beyond. So keep going, my dear. You are very much supported.
Thank you.
Is there another question?
Yes, there is. Thank you for that, Ignatius. We have a question from Eileen.
Hi, Ignatius. I'm asking on behalf of some dear friends of mine, Ivy and Teresa. It's a two-part question, and the question goes as follows. We have understood how the soul has the innate capacity to divide itself and incarnate simultaneously into several bodies in this dimension. Therefore, does this inherent ability extend to being able to divide itself and incarnate simultaneously into one body in much the same way? That's the first one.
There's a slight error in the way you talk, and I hinted at this in my initial words. The soul never divides. The soul can only be itself, but it becomes aware of more than one incarnation. So it does not divide 50% to one location and 50% to another. Its awareness increases and its ability to watch grows. As it evolves through its evolution, through its understanding, it starts to encompass bigger and bigger awareness of more incarnations. And I used last week the analogy of love, so that somebody in the early days would be very unloved, no connection of love. They may then develop love for themselves, of what they need, become aware of love for another, then another, and their love would grow. Now, the love has not changed. There is not, let us say, if you had 2 children, you do not love one child 50% and the other child 50%. And then if you gain 3, you do not love each child 30%. The love grows, and you love each child 100%. It is the same with awareness to other incarnations, that you are 100% aware of every action in every incarnation. Now, at times, there is the possibility, incredibly rare, that people may choose to live all incarnations in a very similar place. You are inferring to this person or any other person having multiple personalities. With multiple personalities on a spiritual level, as opposed to a physical level, on a spiritual level, it is a decision that has been made to live all incarnations, all karma, all issues, and many things that need to be learned all at the same time. And it's been done by all at the same place. Now, it is very possible that one person may choose to live 2 lives, or 2 personalities, I should say, within the same body. There is a potential error that has occurred, but not in this case. So rather than being aware of an existence, let us say, in Spain, and an existence in Portugal, and an existence in China, for example, for some reason, some souls pick to live it in exactly the same place. There is also some karmic debt that has incurred. Now, that is a very complex study and very personal, so I do not wish to go into more detail, as that person is not present to be here to listen. There are personal details I do not wish to share. But let me tell you, it is very, very rare. And the second part to your question.
The second part is, if this is the case, what purpose would this serve, and what would the soul be attempting to achieve or understand? I'm just reading what they sent me.
I understand. There are many possible reasons. Some reasons could be that karmic debt that they have carried from previous places, as where they were a captor. They held people in captivity. By doing this, they restricted everybody and pushed everybody together. They wanted to honor, to resolve, and to fix it all in one life, rather than to work with each individual captee. So I cannot answer this on a personal level to you generally, because this detail would be personal to this person. I understand this person is endeavoring to make contact for me to talk to them directly. In that case, I can give specific answers. You must understand that some things cross the border of what would be personal and should not be disclosed. It is then their choice who they tell, not my choice of who I disclose it to. So you may pick, and again I attempt to answer the question generally, you may pick from a soul level to resolve all your karma, all your issues, to resolve everything that holds you back, so that the following life can be more pure, all in one time. If you do this, of course, you can expect a life where you have much to learn, much happening, and be constantly faced with hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. Now, to some degree, all souls will pick to resolve more than one issue. And any advice would be given to that soul at that time. If you want to live this, you can, but this is what you will face. And as a consequence, then life can be very, very traumatic. It is traumatic from beginning until end, or just before end, when everything is lived through. I am sure that there are others here which also would understand, let us say, difficult childhood and difficult adolescence, and then less than smooth and easy adulthood. In this case, all that trauma that the others of you would understand in your childhood is constant throughout life. And then you multiply it from there. So potentially people could have 1, 2, 3, 4, and many more additional personalities. So let us say they have 5 different personalities. To the rest of you, imagine the trauma you've had as a child or an adolescent, and then multiply it by 5. And then live it all of your life, not just between, let's say, 1 and 10. Can you now see that that is a big choice to be made? I'm sure you can. And then pick the correct number. Some people, of course, may have 12, 13, or 14 different personalities. Now, if you remember, I started this by saying spiritually, not physically. There is also a potential for some physical defect, of course. Something's not working exactly right. This is also a slight possibility. So the truth is a combination of the two, but in essence it is the first part, the spiritual part, that will have made the decisions, not the physicality. So your soul decides the experience, and I use that word very deliberately, the experience. The mind creates the experience, and the body lives it. So for the soul to have the true experience and to understand all aspects of it, first of all, it must be very aware and be watching, and it must also have the emotions. It must connect to the mind to feel the emotions. The emotions, of course, are created in mind but felt in body. So anger is created in your mind, but then the body reacts to that anger. Now, if you look at the soul more as a field of potential, so let us call it a body of water, it must be aware of every action that is taking place. So the water must be aware of ripple or wave. But the water is unaffected. It looks like it's affected, but it is not. It's having the experience of ripple. So then the water learns, what is it like to be wave or ripple or splash? The water does not know it is water. The water is also the place where all activity derives from, is created. It is also the place where it is felt. There is the appearance of wave in one corner, splash in another corner. But it is always water. So when there are multiple splashes, either in different corners or all in the same place, the soul is having a rather large experience, but is unaffected. It has learned. It chooses to grow, evolve. The soul feels like it has a need to evolve. But here the soul just needs to wake up. Wake up to its universality, that is part of spirit. I must leave the conversation there, even though I am tempted to follow it further. The very nature of the soul, the very nature of your existence, your truth, your reality, your innate abilities, is the steps you must take. I am sure there's ones amongst you which say, I know that I am a soul. But I say to you now that you know but just one fraction. Let us say a hair's breadth on a mile's journey. Understanding the true nature of your soul would change your life beyond wherever you could possibly imagine. Understanding the true nature of your soul would take you from reincarnation into eternity. But maybe that again is a discussion that we can go into some depth at some other time. Is there a final question or observation?
Yes, we have one more from Milada.
Hey, Ignatius. I have a question about the chakras. It's a personal question, but maybe some others can relate to it. I feel as though I'm taking a medicine that is making my crown chakra feel less vibration, but I feel that the spirit guides have given that vibration to my feet to make me aware in a more profound way.
And the question is
that the case, that the feeling that I have in my crown chakra is somewhat less, but it's more in my feet because the guides are helping me to feel that?
Now, a little while ago, I did mention that those which are connected to the earth can feel a slight vibration and building from there around the base of their spine. In essence, this is the awakening, or at least the awakening to the potential of a Kundalini experience. Now, those which work with anything to do with earth, just one moment, please. Any that work with the connection to the earth will begin to feel this vibration around the base of their chakra. Those which have a big connection through to the earth will feel this rather much larger. It will also incur the true connection to earth-based spirit. You will find, my dear, if this is happening to you, that you will have made connection, contact, or be guided by those which worship the earth. So there is a drawing for you for, let us say, anything that may be pagan, maybe forest dwellers, maybe Native American Indian, any Aboriginal, or let us say original existers. My words are confused. My medium is lifting his awareness for a moment. So if you have a connection through to any of these, to any Native American Indians or earth-based practitioners, you will find that you are drawn more and more to planet. Here, then, the Kundalini experience becomes larger. The energy around the base of your spine starts to increase. So you would have less contact, and I do mean this I'm answering this in a general nature. You'll have less contact, let us say, with anything extraterrestrial and more contact with anything earth-based. If you are very much driven to earth-based connection, then you will find that that vibration will increase. So for you, you will find that you're linking to guides, and when your guides are more connected to you, you will find your awareness will go downwards rather than upwards. Do not think this is error. This is your way. Am I correct in saying that you have connections to earth-based people, as I have mentioned from that list? Is that correct?
Yes.
Now you have a choice. You can honor this connection and honor that connection to those types of spirit. Or if you wish, you can stop it and say, no, I would like other types of spirit, and it will change. It is in your time of stillness that you will be most open to this connection. So the times when you meditate, the times when let's say your body is still, but your mind could still be aware. So understand that in essence, you are creating these experiences. You can change them, and you can have other experiences if you wish.
Okay.
But because of your link to these types of people, this is a byproduct for you. I would expect, my dear, that with time, that vibrational increase will pick up. That vibrational increase will mean that the energy around the base of your spine in your lower chakra will start to increase. The potential for anything physical within your world will start to grow. And having a little bit of knowledge of the connection through to you, I know this to be true. You will also find that there is connection to more ancient, and I mean ancient from a worldly perspective. So you may find again the drawing to the old people. And I do not mean elderly people. I mean the old ways, the old people. You should honor this, and I am sure you have a drawing to light a campfire, to have smoke, either of incense or even just smoke in the room, to burn incense perhaps from a pot rather than an incense stick, to sing, to dance around a campfire, to worship sun, moon, and stars, a drawing towards more natural settings rather than cities, a need to be away from those cities. You would have an essence of Wicca, witchery within your system as well. Now, these are all elements of the same. There are many more to be mentioned, because you have all of these. That connection through to your earth-based spirits was a destiny. So if I understand you, you would feel American Indian. You would also feel animals around you. And in particular, my dear, I would say horses. They would be with you a lot, but I am not limiting to that.
Okay.
Now, can you see that this is linked together throughout many aspects of your life?
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
You are meant to care for the world, to care for the earth, and in part the people there. But you, my dear, also have the ability of mind. You do not blindly follow all earth-based. You have the ability to use your nous, which is not so common to have somebody so strongly earth-based, but also have such an intellect. The two will be in battle for you. And I would suggest to you, you may have seen the battle almost won to earth-based over mind-based.
Mhm.
Again,
Yes.
you could change that if you wish, but why would you? I wish you Godspeed, my dear.
Thank you so much. If you are observant, you will notice during this talk that there has been more delays, more pauses. Sometimes the words have been a little harder to speak. And once the body decided to move, this in part is the second part of our discussion today. We intend to bring the medium's awareness slightly back. Now, this is a very fine line, because if we bring the medium's awareness too much back, then his mind and his knowledge will start to interfere. So we may need to keep him in a corner, not in the front row as such. And we will begin that shortly. May I ask those of you which write down notes for you to continue to do so, because I am sure the medium will doubt some of the things that are said, because he will only hear parts and not in its entirety, and also may not have the full background. So over the remaining of this talk, you may find more stutters, stalls, and delays. Now,
you should see this as a way for you to also look at your own work. It'll go from what is a nice flow of words and energy into something a little bit more, well, forced, as if it needs to be helped. Consider that with where you are in your flow of words, information, energy, of the connection. And it will help you with your development. So we begin that process now. And it will be a gradual process. For a while, we have undertook some, well, let us call it research. Research is not the correct word. We have watched what needs to occur. And if we're not mistaken, then there is a need currently for people to undertake some form of education. The education that is on offer is currently pick a teacher, work with them, or sit by yourself and work through your own development in your private times. If you were to pick a teacher, of course, the potentiality is that you would be a clone of the teacher and undertake their beliefs. So if one person taught you to do the work like this, then you will find you also would treat that way as right or wrong. Those would then hand over their development and their learning almost to the teacher. And because there are a limited amount of teachers, then of course you pick which is the nearest to what you think you need. This may not always fit. And as a consequence, it means that you may not learn in the way that you need to learn. You may pick a personality rather than the ability. It would be understandable. And of course, at these times, not only do you not learn according to what you need, but also you may learn in ways which may not be suitable for you. So taking the last question, you may be taught in more, let us say, extraterrestrial connections rather than Earth-based connections. But there is nobody else to talk to, and it means then you feel like you are wrong in linking to Earth rather than linking to stars. Then there is the issue of personality. You may not like the person you fit with, or like the style, or like somebody that is so direct or so indirect. It appears the issues are at times you have to learn in certain groups, large groups, let's say 20, 30, 40 as well. And then becomes the issue of what you can afford, both monetary and also from a time perspective. And then this teacher that you work with, do they really know you? Can they possibly know you? The way you work, the way you, what issues you have in your life to deal with, and can they know you that you find certain things easy, certain things hard? And then you add into the equation that there are different levels of learning from basic to advanced. next. And probably 1,000 degrees in between there. You have to take what you can get. So we tend to change that. We offer now, if you so wish, it is your life, your journey, to correct all of that. Now, what I am about to say will be picked up by others. This is being offered to others, but there are some where this is not being offered to who will attempt to duplicate this. And I would suggest to you that you look for the fruit and not for the tree. Now, we offer to teach you directly on any topic that you wish, for any skill level that you possess. We offer to work with you individually and in small groups so that you can work at your speed. You may pick, if you wish to do this work, which of the personalities you relate to most. Maybe I, maybe the others. You can pick on the topic you wish to work with. You may work at your pace with us understanding both your physical side and your non-physical side. So, for example, there are many topics that we can work on. If you would like to work with mediumship, with healing, with this type of mediumship, with the understanding of who you are. There are some that could pick that they wish to study the scriptures of, let us say, Buddha or Jesus or Bible. We will work with them, with you. If you would like to understand meditation, if you would like to understand that how to work with people, if you are let us say, a beginner, a young person, and would like to learn your skill, we will work with you. Not only can you pick your topic, you can pick the personality that matches it for you. You will notice that with this medium that there are very different personalities. Some would like more down to earth, some would like more highbrow. You pick. And we offer to do this in small groups of perhaps no more than 4 or 5. We offer to work with you, let us say, in multiple sessions of 4 or thereabouts. And in addition to that, you may pick whatever you wish to pay. That is your choice. All of it is your choice. We just ask that there is a minimum of 3, 4, but a maximum of 5. We will work with you as if you are working individually. We'll take you to an understanding of if you are connecting to spirit correctly, rather than an external opinion. For this medium, this will evolve into undertaking full workshops over weekends where we will do the work. But that is not yet. That is later. Now, I do not wish this to sound like that we are trying to sell something to you, but we are just offering to you. There are very few, if any, on your planet that can educate you from two sides of life on any topic, or let us say on most topics, with the teacher which fits you the most, at a cost that you can afford. Now, please note that the money aspect is your choice, not my medium's choice. If you are truly, and I do mean the word truly, unable to afford to pay anything, if you are genuine, you will not be rejected. Now, so with this style of work and with this style of teaching, which we have been demonstrating to prove to you that this is possible for some months, if not years, your growth, your evolution, your understanding, your abilities, your practice levels will expand if you want them to. I said last week, and I have said in other talks, that this is the path that this medium is on. This is the path of full surrender. And it is full surrender not for his benefit, although he will receive some benefits, of course. This is the path of the two sides coming together and the veil being removed. In some groups and at some times, the progress and evolution has already been proven to you. So when I say these next words, they are meant most sincerely. And with full awareness of my medium, I say this to you now, that we truly offer ourselves of service to you. Not for our benefit. No. The medium is beginning to return naturally And his awareness is beginning to grow. So I must leave now, otherwise you'll be talking to him and not me. With this style of work, all the problems of education will be overcome. God bless you all.